Hello and welcome to the social hour where Darren is putting me in charge. All right, that's
putting
it.
Anyone in
Yeah. Fuck you, Darren.
Fuck you, Darren.
Okay.
Take your shirt off, you little bitch.
Yeah.
I'm so hot, guys.
Yeah.
Hot in here.
It's a social strip hour.
Yep.
Oh, business is over. It's time to be social. Get me a beer.
Yep. Exactly.
But I drank my beer during the news.
Well, womp womp.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy.
I'm
Anyway.
going all water just because I'm actually. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna fucking segue this shit.
Okay.
What I've been up to and what I'm doing. Fucking. So here's the weird thing. So we know we've been playing Spiderman, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's pretty
yeah.
fucking obvious. I've been talking about it like fucking nonstop. So Halloween is coming soon, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck, man. I saw on Angry Joe, like the Angry Joe show. He's on YouTube. He's like fairly famous, like, or pretty well known. I saw his review for Spider-Man. I mean, this was after I was already like just hours into it, and there was one point where who he calls Little Joe, because the other guy's name is Joe, and he is actually tinier than the main host. He had, like, they do little skits in their reviews, and in this little skit, because, like, he was avoiding, they were kind of mocking the whole IGN of, oh, it makes you feel like Spider-Man. So they were
Just say how many times in that fucking review?
Yeah.
exactly. So they decided to just fucking go like full throttle with that joke, and they just, like, the entire time Little Joe had the fucking the new suit on, and he just kept saying the entire time, he's like, I really feel like Spider-Man. Come on, Joe. And he's like, and the entire time he's like, no, fuck off. I'm not saying that. I'm not going there. You piece of shit. Like, and like there were times where it's like he'd go outside and then he'd be like, Joe, you feel like Spider-Man. And he's like, what the fuck? And he sees him like on the roof of a house. He's like, Joe, get down, you piece of shit. Like, all he's saying, like, so they just run with this joke the whole time. But I was just like, oh my God, I fucking want that suit. Where can I get that suit? So was browsing around because my girlfriend and I were talking about, like, oh, you know, like, it's in 1 month, so let's think of some costume ideas. And I was like, man,
God,
I
no.
was like, man, I should look up to see how much the fucking advanced suit, how much does that shit cost?
Oh God, no.
And I found it, you know, not bad of a price, $69.
Jesus Christ.
And it's for the spandex, and the mask is actually separate, so you can fucking remove that shit and still keep the rest of the suit on, and then you just put the mask back on, and it'll overlap the neck part. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's what I want.
God.
And it's even got the emblem on the back and everything, unlike my other
already
one.
have a spider suit.
That shit's old, and there's nothing on the back.
Oh my God.
There's a big gap of red on the back. Like, there's no
Spider-Man suit.
Apparently.
Thank you, Steve. God damn it.
Apparently.
But anyway,
Hey, man.
but going into why I'm drinking so much fucking water is because, like, after I got the suit, I was like, all right,
Yeah, where does this all connect?
I need a fucking
Gotta tighten them abs.
I want to bulk up. Man. I want to fucking
Oh my God.
lose. I want to lose all my fucking belly fat. Like, so, like,
It's the first, dude.
no, man. It's got to be a whole month. I got to be doing this workout shit. It's not like it's something I can work out in 1 fucking week and then have exactly what I want.
What I'm saying is that it's not like something you can necessarily do in a month. I applaud your effort, and I really hope you do it. As someone who has lost a large amount of weight this year, it took me 3.5 months
Yeah,
to do it.
I know. So
Good
I'm
luck.
doing.
luck.
So what I'm doing is I'm doing the Arnold workout.
Oh, Jesus, of course.
Yeah.
Fucking, my God.
So
This
so
is the most Wally conversation we've had.
hey man, I was gone for a week.
Yeah, I know.
I'm back, motherfucker. So yeah, it's like, it's basically it's similar to P90X, where you just basically work out every fucking day except for one day is like the free day. But like all the workouts is like a lot of fucking free weights and a lot of reps where it's like 5 sets of like you start at 30 and then you go down. So once you get closer to like the 5th rep, you're doing like 6, but you're like totally fucking tuckered out. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing that with my girlfriend's brother who has done it before, so he's aware of it.
In the spider costume.
No.
So that you get the proper wear and tear.
Yeah, right.
You know, you gotta be authentic if you're gonna
right.
do this.
Well, the suit's still in the mail, so it's not
Hopefully
here
for you, the crotch rips out. So like.
But he's gonna, because I said to him, I was like, I need, this seems like a lot of shit where I need a spotter and I don't have one. He's like, hey, I'll help you. He's like, I did it before and it was, he's like, I haven't worked out in a long while. He's like, I'll help you. So I was like, cool. And plus I get like, because I have a premium gym membership, I can bring guests any amount of times that I want. So I was like, cool, let's fucking do this. Let's do this shit. So we're starting today. So I'm probably going to be, thank God we're doing this now, because I'm going to be, tomorrow I'm going to be like,
yeah, you're not gonna
why? But we'll see. Anyway, Spider-Man, fucking, yeah, man. I'm like, I don't know, I want to say like 70% on my second playthrough on the hard difficulty. And like that's all I really got to say about that. I'm going to fucking finish it, and hopefully by then maybe the DLC will drop, and then I'll get that first chapter.
I would probably expect the DLC to drop somewhere end of November, maybe middle of November, right around, you know, holiday shopping season.
Well, they said for the rest of the year they're dropping each, because there's 3 different packs that they're dropping, and they're doing one this month, next month, and December. So basically they want to ride Spider-Man out for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. Just ride it.
Yeah.
Just ride it hard.
Yep.
There you go.
So, and then New Game Plus is supposed to roll out at some fucking point. I don't know, within the next couple weeks. They didn't really give a deadline for that. They just said, yeah, we'll work on it. And then people still ask for it, and they're like, hey, man, it's working, but we got other shit we got to try to make sure is working, which I assume is all the DLC shit. Yeah, so a lot of that. And then the one thing I want to talk about was fucking Surgeon Simulator on the Switch.
How the fuck does that work?
So
this is what I'm curious about.
Okay, yeah. So you could play 2 ways. You can play with just the regular. You could play like the regular with like, you know, both joysticks, and that's fine. Or what you can do is you could use the motion controls, and basically the rotation handles how the hand rotates.
That sounds like the way to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and if it kind of gets all wonky, which it did for me, because like there was a point where the hand.
That's exactly what has to happen.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, well, I mean, I was like holding it straight, but my hand was like this, and then no matter what I did, it just kept doing this, and I'm like, what the fuck? All you do is just push in on the stick, you hold it, you hold on the stick, and it'll reset to like the default like position. So then you're like, oh, okay, now I can continue doing what I'm doing. But it also has a fucking co-op mode where you go into the options and you turn on 2 hands, and you can play single player where you just control with both fucking hands with the motion controls, or you can like hand off the other control and be like, you're left hand, I'm right hand, and then fucking play that way, and it's real fucking good. It's a real good fucking time.
Yeah, that sounds real good.
It's pretty great. Like, I mean, for fucking, what was it, like $13 that I bought it for? I was like, fuck yeah, like $13 for Surgeon Simulator with co-op play with that fucking game. Get to do it all over again.
I never got all the way through that. I got up to like the TF2 stuff.
Okay.
Barely made it through that and was like, yeah, it's fun and dumb, but I don't have the patience anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I've beaten it all the way through, so I think the only thing, there was like one, it was like the secret level that I got to, but that operation is so fucking difficult. But I might give it a shot on the Switch, because now that like with the motion controls, it actually feels a little bit easier to do and control now. The only things I have to worry about is grabbing things, because certain buttons only close certain groups. So you can still do the middle finger and still give your patient the middle finger and also the shush, so you could tell him to shush. And also pinky up. I think they exclusively kept those buttons in so that way you could get all those achievements. So you could like shush him, give him the finger, and pinky up everything.
So wait, they do achievements on the Switch?
Yeah.
How? There's no achievement system on the Switch.
It just pops up like, hey, you got this achievement, and I think it just saves in the game.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they added a new button where it's basically you just close your entire fist, and whatever you grab, it'll just lock onto it, and it's until you push that button again, he'll let go of it.
Oh, so they do make it a bit more accessible.
Yeah, but that's that button only. If you use the face buttons, you have to hold it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's kind of like situational as to like what you want to do. Like if you know you're gonna be holding something for a while, use the bumper. If you're gonna be just doing something real quick, like fucking shooting a syringe into them, like use the face buttons. Wait.
In co-op, can you inject your buddy with the needle?
Oh yeah,
because I know. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
If either arm hits that needle for the drugs, yeah, you get doped up. Because that's how it was. Because there was a point where we were playing the first level. My girlfriend and I, we were playing the first level, and the guy was losing blood. We were just doing the heart transplant, and it was just like, oh Jesus, I need to fucking dope this guy. And I go to reach for the syringe, and I grab it successfully, and she went to go grab something, and the syringe just plunged right into the fucking hand, and then she's like, oh shit, I fucked up, and I was like, god damn it. So I fucking jabbed the guy a bunch of times while drugged, threw that fucker away, and then like swiped my hand onto the other drug to get us back at the normal. So,
perfect.
It's fucking great. This is probably the ideal surgeon simulator is on Switch, I would say.
Nice.
That's cool. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. I didn't either, because like I was like, man, I need a good co-op game to play like local, and I was just browsing around, and I don't even know how the fuck I came across Surgeon Simulator. It wasn't even like top pick. Maybe it was the top picks or something, but it was just something, and I was like, oh hey, $13, like that's pretty cheap. And then I saw it was like, oh, co-op is included. I'm like, ooh, okay. I'm in on this.
That wasn't in any other version that I know of.
Yeah, and then I started thinking, like, how the fuck does it work the controls if you, like, because the other thing, too, that showed in the video, in their marketplace was like, oh, how does it work for giving one person a Joy-Con, and can you do that? And sure enough, it shows in the trailer, like, it shows the guy handing off a Joy-Con, and then they're both using the motion controls. I was like, fucking sold. All right, $13. Perfect.
That's awesome.
So
add that to my list.
Yeah, really great.
I know you and I have been playing a bunch of actually Monster Hunter.
Yes.
Monster Hunter World on PC.
Yep.
It's just a really good Monster Hunter. There's not much else to say about it other than if that was a franchise that you were kind of curious about and could never get into, this is unequivocally the one to get into.
Yeah.
There's so much quality of life changes, and it's still Monster Hunter. It's still got the whole feedback loop of what makes Monster Hunter great.
Yeah.
And it's so much better, so much easier accessible.
Right.
I love it. It's real good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still kind of learning things, but with your knowledge of Monster Hunter, it's kind of really helping me to understand a lot of things as to what's going on. Like,
oh yeah, if you're using this weapon, you should be jumping up in the air and sending your bug out to attack shit, and or if you're using this weapon and it starts glowing red, hit this button combination to then charge it up and do the elemental attacks, because that's really fucking important to that weapon.
Yeah.
It doesn't really outline that clearly, but
right. I mean, not just the combat stuff, but also like it wasn't until we were farming for the arena stuff where I was like, oh, these coins go towards the fucking like this set of armor
that we can get.
Yeah, this set of armor, which I had no idea how to fucking get. Like I kept looking at it being like, what the fuck, what do I need to do to get this shit? But now it's like, oh, okay. I mean, we still, what's the one thing, like commendations?
Oh
Well,
yeah, combos and stuff like that. We gotta get commendation.
Yeah,
commendation.
the commendations is like the still
That
the
I
one
need to
thing.
Google.
Okay, yeah. So yeah,
I don't know how to get those.
there's still Monster Hunter things where it doesn't explain it to you, but I still think even if you have one person within your group that like understands Monster Hunter or someone that you could talk to that has played with those games, like you can get a pretty quick understanding as to how that game works.
Yeah, there is still Monster Hunter bullshit in that there are menus on menus on menus.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you're trying to play co-op and it's someone's first time playing through a story mission, you can't join them on the story mission until they've watched all of the cutscenes for some reason.
Yeah, that's
that's real dumb. But outside of that, there's so much beyond the story that you can do in that game to where that's minimal.
yeah.
It's phenomenal. I've also gotten a bit further into Octopath Traveler. I made the mistake with Octopath Traveler by picking one particular character at the beginning whose entire dialogue is in really bad, like, old English. Like, will this thouest go hunteth this monstereth this is... Like, so much like that, and it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
But I finally found another one of the travelers, and no, come to find out that is this character's hometown only that speaks like that.
Oh, Jesus.
So thank God the entire game isn't like that.
Okay.
But because I chose that character first, every time I get into combat, she screams out, "Wouldst thouest do battle with me?" And like that kind of shit. So it constantly reminds me of my poor choice.
Mm.
But it's still a good classic style JRPG. It's interesting, and it just nothing else looks like it. Like I think that's what's keeping me going more than actually playing it is the graphical style and the music.
Mm.
It's just so striking and it looks so good.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get into that because it looks like that old school JRPG, like PlayStation,
Oh yeah.
Era type game. I have seen like there are some like bad story beats and like really bad dialogue in that game.
Oh God, yes. I think I experienced most of it in my first 2 hours.
But I don't think it would be enough to like. I still want to give it a shot sometime. Like I don't think that's enough for me not to, because it just looks so, like you said, it looks so good that I just want to check it out at least.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the story beat stuff is enough to push you away. It's enough to make you groan like hell.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to discredit the game as a whole. I will say the one thing that I really don't like about it is that the main characters, when they face each other and they interact for like the first time, they never really give a justification as to why they're teaming up. And when you're doing one character's story, none of the other characters ever show up in that story. They might as well be traveling alone. So they never give a justification as to why these 8 characters come together. They all just happen to be wandering the world at the same time. And for gameplay's sake, you're traveling together, I guess.
I feel like that would require so much more work though if they did that with all the different combinations.
Depending on who's in your party at the time that you go and talk to them. I get why they did that.
Yeah.
I just at that point it feels like they should have probably narrowed the scope a bit more so that you can't just start with anyone and just fucking go for it. Like if that was the goal, they could have structured it in a way to where, okay, well, you're going to start with this character and this is their story. And they could have woven it together in a way to where that could happen. But also that might, again, be a ton more work.
Yeah.
So
similar to Mass Effect, where it's like there's story beats where you come across other characters, and then like as you gather them, they have different dialogue options with other characters within that game, depending on who you bring with you.
Yeah, like Mass Effect 1, if you have Liara in your team when you go to Novaria to approach Matriarch Benezia, you have a very different experience. Whereas if you haven't met Liara yet. So, yeah, it's fascinating. Octopath Traveler, if you're a fan of old-style JRPGs, definitely pick it up. it will be a good choice for you.
Who developed that game?
It's published by Square Enix, and I did not recognize the developer.
Okay.
I think it's their first big game.
Hmm.
Let's see. Octopath Traveler, developed by Acquire Corp. Oh no, I stand extremely corrected. They have developed like 40 games in the
Damn.
past.
Oh Jesus.
Octopath Traveler, Tenchu Shadow Assassins, The Way of the Samurai, The Way of the Samurai 3. Oh, Rain from 2013. Oh man, it's the Tenchu devs.
Oh fuck.
They made all the Tenchus.
Oh
Damn.
damn.
Fuck.
Well, now we know where they are.
Yeah, they should make another Tenchu. God damn it. But yeah, no, Octopath Traveler's still pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about all I've been up to. I just bought Forza and it's currently installing. That demo got me. That demo got me good. So
I've
Yeah.
heard pretty good things about it so far. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I got another friend who's picking it up too, so I will report back on the online stuff and
nice.
how the seasons change everything.
Right.
But yeah, that's about it for me. Steve, what have you been up to?
Well, first I'll talk about some movies. I recently watched Ready Player One.
Ah.
I actually liked it. I thought it was not a bad action movie, like entertainment wise.
Right.
If you separate it from the book, from the source material, yeah, it can be entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not like a huge fan of the book, so
Fair.
it really, like, I'm not saying the book's bad or anything. I'm just not a huge fan of it.
Well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not the perfect book. I found it highly entertaining, but
yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah,
but I think
I had a hard pass on the first time I tried reading that book, and it wasn't until Joss Whedon told me that story. Sorry, not Joss Whedon. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, why am I blanking his name? Will Wheaton. When I had Will Wheaton read me that name, or read me that book, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm digging this. I'm digging this shit. But I mean, looking at it as a book for storytelling, it's like,
yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, it's not like it's anything like special or anything, but I think thought it was an entertaining film, and since it's directed by Spielberg, there were a lot of like really cool like camera movements and stuff like that I thought was just like technically awesome.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I enjoyed it, but yeah, there's really not much to talk about because it is pretty much just.
Is it really real camera movements and directing if it's still all visual effects?
I mean, look at God of War. That's directing and camera movement.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean
But that's video games, though. Is it? Does it still kind of apply with that same logic with movies?
Yeah, because it's a lot of mocap. I think with that, I think they did. I think majority was probably mocap, but no, even outside of like that, it was just like really cool things that he did when he's in the real world. Like when the movie starts and he's like jumping down the whole like
the stack
section that he lives in, the stack. Yep. And like moving around, there's like a lot of just cool like camera shots that like flow through other people's houses, and you see them like getting pissed off and playing and shit like that. Like I just thought that was really cool. And then there's just some other, like I think they point out to like obvious like this is just weird to watch when it's like them in the game talking by themselves to another character, and they'll like show the face of the person outside like in the real world, and it's just like feels really awkward, and I like that. I like that they did that. Like I think because that's something that they kind of, it seems like it's kind of a joke, you know, like a little bit of a joke on the face where it's like look how serious these people are in this video game world, you know, and here's their face in real life, and it's just funny to look at while they're talking to nobody in front of them. But yeah, I enjoyed it. And then another movie that I recently saw is a movie called Searching. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
I have heard of that, yeah.
I have not.
It is a really cool fucking movie. Like, I was expecting to not really like it. So it's a found footage movie, and it's done completely. So basically, the main actor is played by John Cho, or the main character is played by John Cho, and he's been pretty like huge as of late, and he's fucking amazing in that film. But it's all done found footage as like him. So his daughter has vanished, and he's trying to find his daughter. So he's searching through her laptop to find any clues as to where she could be or what happened to her.
So is it entirely like the desktop, or?
It's not entirely the desktop. I mean, it's entirely on a desktop. So you watch the movie and it's all on the desktop, but you watch like him making like video calls from like his iPhone and stuff. So he'll be like on the computer. So his, or whoever he's talking to, the detective or like his brother or something, will be on the computer, and you'll see his little face and stuff. And it's just like, I thought I wouldn't like it because I don't usually like found footage movies, but the execution is so fucking good. It is just really well done. The acting is superb, and yeah, I highly recommend checking it out because it's just really cool. Like, the execution is just really fucking cool. I've never seen any found footage do what this movie has done.
Is it because it like stays on like a camera on a device the entire time?
Yeah, it's just the computer screen basically the entire time, and like him logging up, and then it'll be just like, okay, he's like sleeping, and then it's like his daughter's calling 5 times, and you see him just in his bed and missing. It's just a really cool way to do it. It's kind of hard to explain because there's just so many different things that they do. It's actually like, interestingly enough, one of the most fast-paced movies I've ever watched. Like, just the way that they move the story along, and it's really cool because there's just a lot of interesting, like, they leave a lot of hints where you see it and you're like, oh, that might mean something, but then you lose interest in it, but it does mean something later. And it's just really cool because then it happens later and you're like, oh, I fucking knew that was going to happen, you know, but you really didn't. You just saw that, so you like had it in the back of your head. And I really like that they did that. There's like a lot of aha moments where it's like, ooh, I knew that was going to be part of it, you know. But I highly suggest watching that. Like, it's just a really fun movie to watch.
I will put it on my list.
Let me bring your world crashing down on you, Steve, about the execution of it, because even though for you it's the first time that you've ever seen that, but it's not the first time that a movie has done that, because there
Unfriended.
is Unfriended, yeah.
Well, it's not in the same way though. I've seen Unfriended. It's done in the same style, but not in the same way.
Okay.
Like, I'm saying, like, just the way that they did it.
Okay.
Like, Unfriended is garbage. It's a terrible movie.
Well, the only redeeming thing was the fact that whole movie took place like through a laptop.
Webcams.
Yeah.
Which, I thought that was a cool idea, but Unfriended was bad. This one just like takes what Unfriended like was doing and just makes it way better. Like, just
made a better story. Just made a good story out of it.
They made a good story, and I don't know, just like style wise, what they did that Unfriended didn't do is why this movie is good and Unfriended's not. Although there are some cool moments in Unfriended, but it's still not a good movie. But anyways,
I only know that just through Cinema Sins, because I watched it through that and I was like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
Usually really shitty movies I just watch through Cinema Sins, and I decide whether if it was like, yeah, that might have been worth watching, or Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, and I did since I've been playing Spider-Man like a motherfucker. I did watch some more Spider-Man movies too because, you know,
Which
you
ones?
just get that itch. I actually
I've been kind of wanting to rewatch the Raimi ones again.
I've watched those so many times. I love the Raimi ones. Well, the third one.
Always the third one.
I never saw the third one.
Literally,
Don't.
there's moments. You don't have to, but there's moments in the third one that are fucking amazing. But all around, it's a trash movie.
Yeah. So, some of them that's like, oh hey, this is the Spider-Man movie that I came to watch, and then there's some moments where it's like, who fucking said this was okay to do?
Yeah, no, that movie's bad. But I actually watched the Amazing Spider-Man movies because I hadn't really seen those, and then I watched Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Nice.
And I actually like the Amazing Spider-Man movies better than Homecoming.
Really?
Which is probably not.
It's controversial.
I think it's a little controversial. It's not that I really dislike Homecoming. I just feel that there's nothing new that they really brought to the table in Homecoming. It's more like it's a fun movie.
I think they just wanted to show the new Spider-Man his ability to have a standalone movie, and I think that's why that movie exists.
Yeah, it's entertaining, and I enjoy it. I enjoyed it, but I actually I was surprised with the Amazing Spider-Man movies how much I actually enjoyed them because I had heard mixed things about them, especially the second one. That one seems to be a mixed bag, but I actually really fucking liked it. I thought it was really unique in the way that, especially sound wise, I think
those are the Andrew Garfield ones, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I think
2 was the one with Electro.
2 had Electro. Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one wasn't bad. It was popcorn.
I actually really enjoyed it. If I listened to it on my headphones, and the music is fucking really good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the Electro scenes. They do this interesting thing where there's a dude, his mind talking to him, and you hear it, and it's part of the music. It's really fucking cool.
That's the thing that I remember about that the most is that, and the electric pangs being the bass line for most of the music, his attacks and stuff working into the music. I always thought was real fucking cool.
Yeah. Sound wise, it was really cool, and I think it might have got shit on a little bit more just because they did the Green Goblin thing again. So people were like, they already fucking did this, So I think that might be where that people shitting on it a little bit came from. But they also kill a character off in the end. I mean, they don't make a third one, but they had the goal to fucking kill a character off, which was
a main character too.
A main character, yeah.
Not that I'm against Tom Holland, because I think he's really a really fucking good Spider-Man, but I'm also kind of sad to see that Andrew Garfield didn't get more time as Spider-Man, because I was really enjoying his portrayal of it, because he was fucking nailing it as well.
Agreed.
He's a really good actor.
Yeah, in general, yeah.
Yeah, he's just a really good actor. And I mean, obviously, since I don't know if they still are dating, but him and Emma Stone were dating when they made that movie. So their chemistry is real. It feels fucking real when they're on screen. And his reaction at the end is so tragic.
Yeah,
it's really. I really enjoyed it, and I recommend all of those. Pretty much all the Spider-Man movies are pretty good, except for 3. I think. They're all worth watching. I think Spider-Man 2 is my favorite. But
yeah, I watched 2 a lot when it came out.
But does it make you feel like Spider-Man?
Not like the game does.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into the game because it makes you feel like no, I'm not even
God damn it! Son of a bitch!
Let me set it up for you, Steve.
No, I'm not gonna say that. But basically, no, I really enjoy it, and in my opinion, it's one of the best just traveling around game. Going from point A to point B is just so much fun, and sometimes I'm just it gives me an excuse to do the side quests, because the side quests they're not bad, but they're just general side quests.
Yeah.
So but being able to travel to them like that just makes it so much fun. I actually enjoy the side quests. I don't think they're bad. It's just they're nothing special, you know.
Mm-hmm. I realized the last week or so that this Spider-Man has all of the fucking open world tropes that are there that anybody would get pissed off if like Ubisoft did it, but like because the swinging and moving around in that game feels so fucking good.
Because you feel like Spider-Man.
It feels so fucking good. It's just like you overlook everything. You're just like, man, it feels so fucking great. Whatever. Yeah. I'm okay with going to go collect all this shit because whatever, man. Activate another tower? Sure, I'll go fucking swing over there.
Yeah, the gameplay is just so smooth and it's just so fun to play that stuff is still fun, even though it is like a formulaic regular game shit that has been done before. One of my biggest issues, and it's probably just because being spoiled by God of War and how good that like everything transitions is the like when you're going into like a new mission and stuff like that, there's like, I don't know, just the cutting and stuff like that kind of takes me out of it a little bit. I wish it was a little bit more freeform because it's Spider-Man swinging in. They have all these opportunities to be like, here he comes, and like just do really cool camera angles. And they didn't really, there's points where they do, but I think overall they kind of missed on that a little bit. It's not enough for me to like really care that much. Right. It's just worth mentioning.
Would have been nice to have.
Yeah, it would have been a nice aesthetic for that game because there's so many things that they could have done.
Yeah.
But when you're like traveling from point A to point B, you can do shit like that and make it fun and just it's just really all around. It's a really fucking great game and I like it a lot.
The thing that's been rattling around in my head as everyone is hyping up Spider-Man, I haven't touched it yet. I just haven't picked it up. Makes me really hopeful that Insomniac could get the opportunity to make another Sunset Overdrive and refine that, because this Spider-Man is, from the outside, again, I haven't touched it, but I played quite a bit of Sunset Overdrive. Feels like a refinement of the Sunset Overdrive movement mechanics without guns, because guns were the weakest part of that. As goofy and as fun as they got, they never really felt right, and they felt at odds with the traversal system there. Whereas the biggest difference between that traversal system and Spider-Man is that you're fucking Spider-Man. And it's a refinement of that earlier Sunset Overdrive movement system.
Yeah, I've played both games, so I can kind of like weigh in on comparing the two. And a lot of what I think of when I think of Sunset Overdrive is like the grinding on the rails.
Like skating and like Tony Hawk style shit.
Because that is very primarily the best way to get around in that game. I mean, yeah, there's also like jumping and shit you can bounce off of to get higher heights and things like that. So, but there's not really so much of that. I guess more of they already had the way to compare the two of them. I would say is just maybe because they kind of had the momentum they had down in Sunset Overdrive. So it's like, okay, they understand how momentum fucking works in an open world game. So let's fucking incorporate that shit into Spider-Man.
Yeah. And it makes me really hopeful that if they're given the chance to do a Sunset Overdrive 2, that they incorporate, like they refold some of their learning from Spider-Man back into that fold.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's Insomniac. They could make a fucking jokey traversal item called the Arachnid Person Ropes or something. I could see them doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that game was so self-referential that it was ridiculous.
It was definitely a fuck you, I'm a video game.
Oh, certainly. I
think there are some similarities, like what Wally was saying with the momentum. I think a lot of it is just like not the fighting, but a lot of it is just the traveling around, where it's like you don't travel on the ground, you travel in the buildings, and that's basically how you traveled in Sunset Overdrive. You didn't really travel on the ground, you traveled across the buildings, you know.
Yeah.
So they have that. There is a little bit of a similar feel to that, but I mean, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
All around. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that game. I haven't been disappointed. I mean, it has its flaws, but they're so minuscule to how fun that game is that you just overlook them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
Mhm.
it's like, oh shit, I got stuck in this little corner for a second, and it kind of is frustrating, but whatever.
The sum of its parts are greater than its whole.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
rarely ever happens, and it's just like one little instance where you're like, fuck, shit, I thought I could go under there, and now I'm stuck in a corner for a second, and it's a little frustrating. But other than that, you just like go about your day, and you can get out of it fast and whatever.
I actually
Yeah,
had a little glitch happen where I was in the middle of fighting in a random crime that was going on, and there was an enemy that got stuck under some steps, and it was like the only thing that was peering was the top of his head that kept like popping up every now and then. So I couldn't like web him. I tried pulling him, like I tried all these things. And I think I don't even remember what the hell I did. I think I just launched some gadget at him and eventually just considered him incapacitated. And I'm like, oh, thank God, because like I was like, I kind of just wanted to finish it, and he was like the last enemy, so I just like fired all my gadgets that did a bunch of webbing, and eventually it just hit him, and then he stuck to the wall. So I was like, all right, cool, I finished it.
Sweet.
But that was like the one instance where like it glitched out on me. But like even on my second playthrough, there hasn't really been anything that was like noticeably like,
Yeah.
oh man, they really like this is a really big fuck up, but like not big to the extent where it's like, game breaking or anything.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple animated GIFs of like graphical things where suddenly Spider-Man is all like balled up and fucked up in every fucking way.
That happened to me. One of those things,
Awesome.
like where, and it was hilarious. It was only for a split second though. He like swung off and his body just got like into a ball and just jumbled across the screen. Then it shot off. I was like, yeah, okay, what just fucking happened?
That's the kind of shit I love.
It was hilarious and awesome, and it didn't. I mean, obviously that doesn't bug me at all because, whatever,
Yeah, I mean, weird graphical errors are minimal at best. Well, cool. Is there anything else anyone wanted to bring up and discuss?
I did watch. I fucking finally, after so many years of not seeing it, finally watched the fucking Truman Show this past weekend.
Man,
I've always, it's one of those instances where it's like I always saw it on TV and I would watch some of it, but then it's like, oh, I gotta go do something, so it's like, turn it off or whatever. But this was like the first time I was like, all right, we're gonna watch this movie from beginning to end. And so like I actually finally got to watch that movie for the first time ever. And yeah, I think man, fucking back in Jim Carrey's prime when he was doing more shit, he just he's so good in like non-comedic roles, like, because I mean it is kind of a comedy, but like it's also not at the same time, I guess. Like it's still very serious.
That was his first like serious role.
Yeah, because a lot of people would say like, oh, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless, yeah, okay, like all the way through, but like
that's once he figured out how to do it. Was
Right.
Eternal Sunshine.
Right. But like, yeah, definitely Truman Show was something where it was like, yeah, he fucking had acting chops, man. Like he had more than just being a one-trick pony on that kind of style comedy that he just did so well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
Yeah, Truman Show is a good movie.
Yeah, it's a very good movie.
I like the only part that had me like really fucking laughing was, of course, like when he starts realizing that like all this shit is going on, and when his fake TV wife was like doing an ad, and he's just like looking around, and he's like, who the hell are you talking to? Like that was the whole moment where I just fucking
Who talks like that?
bursted out laughing just because just like the expression on his face, like he's just like I'm going fucking mad is what the look on his face had. And it's just so, the delivery of that line is so fucking perfect. I loved it.
Oh man, fuck! I'm gonna have to go watch it.
It's real good.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix, right?
Yes, that is
I
how
believe
we
so,
watched it. Yeah, that's how we watched it. Yep. We were
Cool.
like, oh hey, it's on here. We've been talking about it for a while. Let's fucking throw it up on there.
Well, cool. Thanks for hanging out with us this week.
Yes.
For this week's edition of the Social Hour.
Yeah.
If you want to see us again, hang out until next Monday. We will stream live at twitch.tv/cptwally. Until then, reach out to us on Twitter at Utterly Geek. That's UTTERLYGEEK on Twitter. And then we're also on Instagram at Utterly Geek. That's UTTERLYGE33k on Instagram. You can email us at utterlygeek@gmail.com. That's again with the threes, UTTERLYG33k@gmail.com. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Later.
Bye.